We are live. That's right. Two Black Eyes back at you one more time. Hey, everybody, you know who I am. I'm Reverend Lyle Lewis, aka Sean Lou, and Two Black Eyes is coming at you with another episode. Now, I know it's been a while since I've done an episode, but I want to go ahead and just drop something on you guys real quick. I wanted to go ahead and have Two Black Eyes go ahead and cover a brief topic right fast. Let's see, just to get all the formalities out of the way. Please, by all means, if you enjoy the channel, if you can help me out, please click like and subscribe. Give me some kills, give me some clisses, and by all means, check me out on YouTube, check me out on Facebook, check me out on my podcast channels on Anchor. I have my preaching podcast, Reverend Lyle Lewis, and I also have comic novels. So go check it out. I'll be doing a lot of good stuff and updating. I've been doing, keeping up with my preaching podcast, but my comic novels podcast is still a lot. There's a lot of that in the working, but I will be updating it very, very soon. So please, by all means, go to the Anchor or go to wherever it is that you listen to your podcast and tune me in, or, stay here on YouTube, and I promise you, I'll keep putting out stuff for you guys. All right. If you're on my channel, I've got the playlist. Those of you who are here to hear me preach, check out the preaching playlist. For those of you who want to hear all the goofy, dumb stuff that I like to talk about, by all means, Two Black Eyes playlist. All right. So let's see. So today I am covering Friendemies. All right. Now, we have it where throughout, there's been so many times when you look at where enemies turn to friends, right? I mean, it's like they were fighting each other, trying to kill each other, trying to hurt each other, and then they wind up coming up to some kind of common goal. Next thing you know, later on, they're the best of friends, the best of allies, and, you wonder, like, how can the show have ever gotten on without them, right? So these are my top 5 picks, all right? So number 5. Number 5 pick would be Batman and Superman. Now, yes, a lot of people are always like, oh, Batman and Superman are good guys and they've always been friends. Not necessarily. While they have always tried to fight for the same cause, they have not necessarily always been on the same page, seeing eye to eye or anything like that. Matter of fact, there's a lot of storylines where when they first meet, they actually really don't like each other. But as time goes on, the two of them will just develop an unspoken bond with each other to where they know what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and each one covers the other's strengths and weaknesses. You get what I'm saying? So, don't get me wrong. If you have me to pick between the two, I would definitely say I'd go with Batman, because Batman, given the proper prep time, can defeat Superman. Now, mind you, Superman can easily just obliterate Batman, but for whatever reason, Superman is, kind of soft-hearted in that area. So it's like, it adds to his character, but at the same time, it's very frustrating to watch. But it's like, that's what we kind of love about Superman also. So the fact that, Batman will go the distance, do what needs to be done. Superman is a bit more reserved, but if he has to, he will do it. But it has to be under extreme conditions. So when you have the two that get together, at first they're fighting each other, they're arguing with each other, but then when they come together, they are one of the most unbeatable team. I don't care where, you know what I'm saying? Throughout the comic universe, like, you put these two together, they are like hands down the team to beat. All right. You look at what was it? Public Enemy, DC Public Enemies, where these two, they fought villains, they fought heroes, they fought the government. They went through and fought everybody, and still both of these two alone came out on top. Now, mind you, the only thing that you look at is like, with that, man, how much tech does Bruce Wayne actually carry in his bat suit, right? Because you never see him really go. You see him go back to the Batcave once. After that, and he's out, you know what I'm saying, fighting and throwing and swinging with the best of them. And nobody can touch this man. You know what I'm saying? So, that's it's a very, like, they have, Batman and Superman are always going to be in that frenemies category, because, they are like, they did come together and they are like the number one team to beat. I would even say they're number one. I would have said they were number one they would have been my number one pick. But because they aren't necessarily, they never really had a full stretch of being enemies. It was more or less just like, we're both on the same side, but we're both coming at this from different angles. You know what I'm saying? And they quickly, it was like a matter of time before they quickly like joined forces and started, kicking butt. All right. So Batman and Superman are my number 5. Number 4, I would have to say my number 4 pick would definitely have to be Goku and Piccolo. Now, Goku and Piccolo were, anybody who needs a quick Dragon Ball history, Piccolo Jr., I should say, Piccolo Jr. Is a son of Piccolo, King Piccolo, who was trying to take over the Earth, and Goku beat him in the World Tournament, and then his son comes, which is Piccolo Jr., and he's, wants to kill Goku and take over the world. All right, but as as they have their struggle, who is it? It's Raditz comes along to planet Earth, and he's threatening to destroy the Earth, but Piccolo's like, no one's going to destroy the Earth but me, and nobody's going to kill Goku but me. So therefore, the two join forces. Now, when the two join forces, it winds up being that Goku has to sacrifice himself in order for the two to win. But in the process, Piccolo winds up becoming mentor and teacher to Goku's son. Like, how much of like on one hand, you see what they did, it's a great honor, but at the same time, it's kind of like, man, that's a bit of a slap in the face. So it's like kind of like good and bad, like good thing that kind of happened, but at the same time, it's just like it makes such a great storyline, And then you look at how the two grew and developed their characters, and now the two are like, when you put those two together, you know what I'm saying? Even Piccolo has said, like, there's, I can do anything with Goku. I can, me and Goku can go and do a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Goku and Piccolo's not going to too much fight side by side with too many other people, other than like Gohan, maybe Vegeta, But at the same time, it's like, when you have it where these two were trying to kill each other, you know what I'm saying? And then they had to come together, like, even though they didn't want to, but because they were able to put aside their differences and look at the greater good, look at the main goal of what's going on down the line. They were able to put all that aside and say, hey, look, we got to get this done. We're going to come together. We're going to beat our enemies, right? And then look at how it's all happened. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that was like a really, 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 really good twist of things. So that would be my number 4. Number 3 would be Naruto and Sasuke. And the reason why we all have to love Naruto and Sasuke is because you have it where, number one, you got to love Naruto, because normally you get it where animes and comic books and all these other kind of things, they normally always want to glamorize the best individual. Well, Naruto was one of the first animes to, they didn't necessarily glamorize Naruto as the best. Sasuke was always the best. You know what I'm saying? Naruto was always kind of like second best. While he was very good, he was always runner up to Sasuke. But, in the end, these two wind up coming, they started off as teammates, became enemies, wound up in, what is it? Sasuke. These two are like, they're Hokage, and Sasuke is Naruto's is the godfather to Boruto, which is Naruto's son. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look at these two, but you look at the struggle between like the fights that these guys had. They had some serious, if you look at a lot of the fights that Naruto and Sasuke had, be it that Naruto had to fight Sasuke in a group, or he had to fight him one-on-one, or he fought him with Sakura or whatever. These fights that they had, like, they really always fought and developed a heavy respect for each other when they fought each other. They learned more about each other in the heart of battle, while fighting each other, while halfway killing each other, while putting each other on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it to where, like, you look at the storyline of how these two, like, they like, Sasuke was just like, I'm done with being a good guy, ran off to be a bad guy. Naruto was, on his goal and his mission. But then you look at the end result of what they did, right? You see how these two fought as enemies, came together. And how they're protecting the Leaf Village together, right? So I mean, you gotta love the friction that was between them from the beginning, where Naruto was always just like, he just thought that Sasuke was just a loudmouth jerk who just, but when Sasuke put it on him a good time or two and showed him that he can back up what he, but then you look at how Naruto winds up still becoming like, Sasuke looks at the things that Naruto does and looks at his powers and looks at his abilities. And he's like, man, if he had fought me like that from the beginning, man, there's no way I'd have been able to stand up to him like that, So, you look at, like, if you don't believe, check out the Boruto series. It shows like a lot of how Sasuke gives Naruto tons of props in his power levels and things like that. The Boruto series shows that, and it's very entertaining to watch Naruto like really cut loose and go after his enemies. Because you watch Naruto and you watch Sasuke cut loose. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Naruto did his thing, but you know what I'm saying? Sasuke was the man, but then you look at Boruto and you're like, wow, wow, we really see that Naruto was really like, bringing the thunder. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my number 3, be Naruto and Sasuke. Number 2, and a lot of you you're gonna kind of, because they never became friends, but to see what they did in the Tournament of Power, I felt as though they definitely deserved one heck of a mention in this, and that was Goku and Frieza. Now, like I said, no, they never really became friends, but like I said, I really just liked how they really, when it really came down to it, and the two had to pull it together to do what they had to do and defeat Jiren. Like that was like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was like a mind-blowing experience to see these two. Now, to watch these two, who we know are they're now, unless Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball saga has something way down the line planned for these two to come together, which I doubt. But to see these two fighting side by side and trusting each other to defeat another, not necessarily an enemy, but to win this tournament. I mean, if you weren't blown away by that, I don't know. That's because the Tournament of Power was, that was some of Dragon Ball's best work. I mean, of course, there's some of these more recent stuff. So, Dragon Ball is one of those kind of series where it's just like they're just steadily on, right? They've been out since the 80s, and they have just steadily had a consistent record of just getting better and better and better and better and better. You got to love what they do. And so, when you see those two and they're like really like they're going at it with Jiren, you know what I'm saying? They're like, you don't see any like friction. You don't see any like awkwardness. Like the two just go in there and they just have at it and they take care of business. You know what I'm saying? So you got to love that about how, when they get in there to get stuff done, it's done. You know what I'm saying? I will say this for an honorable mention. I believe it was in Justice League Unlimited. This is my honorable mention. Lex Luthor and Brainiac, when the two came together, and I love the line in the series where Lex Luthor told Brainiac was like, well, what do you have? Why do I need you? And Lex said, you have the tech, the brawn, you've got all the good stuff. I've got the imagination. Like he, Lex knows how to sell himself. Lex knows how to sell a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like even if he's selling to the Justice League, Superman, Batman, like he knows what to say. You know what I'm saying? To pique an individual's interest. And you just got to love that about Lex. And then, so you have it where two major villains combine. And you look at how, like, they just wrecked shop on the Justice League, right? And then, you see how Flash, like, used the, he really unleashed the Speed Force to, like, defeat him. But, like, when you look at what Lex and Brainiac did together, and then you look at it like, man, why hasn't Lex Luthor and Brainiac come together in more comic books? Like, can you... Oh man, I'd love to see a series where the Justice League have to fight Lex and Brainiac, and it's just a solid series. Or you have it where, hell, you get it where like you have a series where, I don't know if there has been a series where it's been Lex Luthor and the Joker. There's some comic books unfortunately I have not read. I haven't read them all. I've just, I've read most, not all. I've probably maybe not even most, but I just read enough. But if there is a series, hey, but if anybody knows of a series where there is Lex Luthor and Joker who they teamed up to fight the Justice League, Batman, Superman, or whoever, I don't care if they're fighting doggone Flash, Green Arrow, whoever, just let me know, because I want to check that series out. Okay. And then but my number one mention is Goku and Vegeta. Now, I know there's a lot of Dragon Ball stuff, but I mean, I look at Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball saga, and how they do things, and everybody always wanted to challenge Goku because Goku started off low level and got to be the strongest, and everybody is like always wanted, but nobody can really defeat him. It's like his enemies could not defeat him. All right. Those who really were like, I want to defeat Goku could not defeat him. You know what I'm saying? And then in the process of them not being able to defeat him, come on a common purpose and stand side by side with him. Like Vegeta, like throughout the series, you get it where in like the Dragon Ball Super Saga, they even say that Goku and Vegeta are the team to beat. That they are if these two work together, they are unbeatable. And you look at how they transform and they fuse together and they make Gogeta, or they make Vegito, and they're just like super OP and they're just completely unstoppable. Unfortunately, that has its limits, but at the same time, you look at them and you're just like, when you see these two, when you see Goku, you're like, oh man, we're good. When you see Vegeta, and this is what I don't like that they do in Dragon Ball, they just downplay Vegeta so much. And I'm like, man, Vegeta should be so much more like, more ferocious and more of a beast. I'm not saying he has to be better than Goku, but I'm just saying, like, if his power level is up there, they should have Vegeta doing so much more. But it's always like where Vegeta is always like, he's not at his best unless Goku is there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but when you see these two, when you see both of them arrive, like mind you, in the Future Saga, when Trunks went back to the past and both Vegeta and like everybody knew everything was going to be okay, even though you were still like on edge of what was going to happen and how it was going to happen, you still knew that because both Vegeta and Goku were both there. You know what I'm saying? Even when they did the fusion and they were like, they're getting all cocky and the fusion conked out on them and like they ran out of time, you still knew that everything was still going to work out, but you're just like, oh no, but it's still like, you still like in the back of your mind, you're still like, they'll be okay, but oh man, like what are they going to do now? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's when you're watching these two, Goku and Vegeta are very entertaining to watch because you see how they have a back and forth banter with each other. You know what I'm saying? You see how like they really are, how Vegeta still wants to slightly despise him, although he doesn't. Vegeta highly respects Goku. He just doesn't like to show it. He doesn't like to admit it. He doesn't like to say it. But when you look at how they fight, when you look at how they interact, you see that like Vegeta does, kind of give credit to Goku as he is like the superior warrior. You know what I'm saying? Even in the the Majin Buu saga, where Goku was transforming into Super Saiyan 3 and he was fighting Buu, and like Vegeta had to stop and say, man, like, who would have thought that a kind-hearted, battle-loving warrior like you existed? Like, you really are like the supreme. Only you can do this. You know what I'm saying? Because he looks at like Goku truly does enjoy the battle. Vegeta enjoys competition. That is the reason why, and I'm like, man, it's like on one hand, you don't like it, but you love the fact that that's what they did with his character. That, unless he has somebody to compete with, which unfortunately there's nobody else who, he's like, everybody else is garbage. And when like Vegeta when Goku comes around, he's just like automatically he's on edge and he's like, okay, I'm going to be the strong. He's always going to be as long as Goku's around, it gives him that edge to constantly push. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's always kind of like one step behind him. But at the same time, the two complement each other so well to where it's like, if you put them against lots of other, I don't care, from many other animes, you put them against other people, you're not really going to see too many people who are going to be able to beat them, be it you fight them, one-on-one, or you fight them just as a team, or you fight them in whatever fused state, Vegeta or Gogeta state that they're in. So it's like I said with the like I said, it's the same with them. Same with Batman and Superman. To watch them fight alongside each other is so entertaining. To watch Sasuke and Naruto fight alongside each other it's like a thrill ride. You know what I'm saying? Like you watch these two and you're just like, man, like how these two should have been fighting together from the beginning. Like, could you imagine if they would have just been friends from the beginning and just took off running? And oh my goodness, the chemistry, the oh man, which is it's kind of frustrating that they don't do more. Like they did tons with Sakura in Naruto. Don't get me wrong, but it's like with Batman and Superman, like it's like they did a lot with Wonder Woman, but it's still just kind of like they should have done so much more. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those are my top 5 with the honorable mention. So you've got Batman and Superman, you've got Goku and Piccolo, you've got Naruto and Sasuke, you've got Goku and Frieza, and then you've got Goku and Vegeta with Brainiac and Lex Luthor as my honorable mentions. Hey guys, I'm about to get out of here. I thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for giving me your time. Please, if you want more content, if you want better content or whatever, click like and subscribe. Leave comments. If there's something you want me to talk about, a topic you want me to cover, by all means, let me know in the comments, and I will happily do my research on it. Come back at you with a fantastic show. By all means, check out my podcast. Check out my preaching channel. Pain Fighter. Yeah, check out the Pain Fighter playlist if you want to hear me preach or do motivational talks. It's not just me preaching. I also do motivational speaking on it. But the last 2, I've only done 2 messages so far. So there's plenty more shows to come in, both Two Black Eyes and Pain Fighters. But by all means, go check out my podcast, Comic Novels Podcast, and Pain Fighters Podcast, wherever you stream your podcast at. And until then, I am out of here. Two Black Eyes. This is Sean Liu, aka Reverend Lyle Lewis. Later. I'll learn to fade to black later.